Meechy and it's Friday. What's up everybody, it's your girl Meechy and I'm back with another video. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. I am Meechy. If you're unfamiliar with me, I'm a beauty content creator, which I'm just getting back into. I'm an author of the book I Lost My Mom Now What, and a plethora of other things. So welcome. This is a channel of growth, of my personal growth, and prayerfully from watching my videos you grow with me as well. First off, before we get into things, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you're gonna love it here. Also hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button, and that just keeps you in the know and notifies you as soon as I drop videos. So now that we got housekeeping out of the way, let's get into a few things. I have to start by giving a disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. I am not a certified I'm not certified in herbal medicine or anything like that. Everything I discuss in this video is based strictly off of my own research and my own personal experiences. Take what you will of this information. If you decide that you want to try some of these things out because they worked for me, do that at your own free will. Or if you just want to, okay, watch the video or watch me do my makeup, do what you will with this video. But I couldn't help but share my experience and how I got into even being interested about holistic health. So I had to get that out the way. If you watched my last Get Ready With Me, you already know that I cannot talk and do my eyebrows on camera. So give me just a second. I'm gonna get these eyebrows done first and then I'll be back to get into the topic. All right. So got the brows done. All right, so let's get into my holistic journey. So how I even started, first of all, it's weird to say, but as a kid, like, I kind of already had like an epiphany that, like, if we say God created us, not an if, we know God created us, well, wouldn't God put like everything that we need to heal ourselves and to live healthy? Wouldn't it make sense that he put everything we need here on earth? Like, I remember being 11 and 12 and like really that thought crossing my mind. Meanwhile, we're eating horrible. Like, my household ate horrible as a kid. I grew up having like some health issues. Like, I had breathing problems. They would never say I had asthma for whatever reason. Like, it was like, oh no, she has breathing problems. So occasionally, like, I would have to go over to my sister's house because my nephew also had asthma and like use a breathing treatment and stuff like that. As a kid, I had horrible headaches that I would go to the doctor about, and they would just say like take Tylenol and stuff like that. Just my experience with going to the doctor as a whole, I wasn't pleased with it. I really got into my holistic health journey and taking it more serious with my mom battle with cancer. I wrote a book about my whole journey with my mom and losing my mom to breast cancer and that whole thing. I'll link my book in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. But if you're familiar already, yes, that's how I really got into holistic health. I remember going to like doctor's visits with my mom and asking questions and observing, and I just couldn't get like answers from doctors. Like, I remember really going to the doctor with my mom one time, like asking them like, okay, you're gonna try a new treatment, but is this gonna heal my mother? Is this gonna heal her? Like, is this gonna be, you know, what saves her life? And they could never say yes. They would always say, well, each patient is different, so our goal is just to try this to see if maybe this works, because it works on some, but it's not a guarantee or whatever. And so I just remember my mom being so hopeful, and in turn I would be hopeful. I just remember being like, this not it. Towards the end of her fight with cancer, we even started, again, if you read my book, you know this already, but I don't think we got so far to do herbs, but we definitely changed her diet to eat healthier. So we definitely started towards the end. That's when we were like, okay, it's obvious that like medicines and treatments are not helping, so what is next? And I'm doing a festive look, by the way, if you're confused by the lime green. It's just the transition color. So even like observing other family members' health issues, like I remember going with my mother and my grandmother to like visit family members in hospitals and like nursing homes and stuff, and just being like, bro, I know this is something that I don't want for my life. all of that is really where this started. I started taking my holistic health journey more serious after my mom died. It was triggering for me also to sit on these doctor's visits, because I remember doctor's visits I had like for checkups and just feeling dismissed. Not saying my mom was dismissed, because they actually worked with my mom. Like, she worked at a hospital, so they cared for her as best they could. But just the fact that they could not help her was like triggering for me. And it never sat well with my spirit, but I was there and I was being strong for my mom. Now, as far as my own health journey, like I said, I've had headaches for as long as I can remember. And I would go to doctors and be like, you know, I have headache. It won't go away. I always wanted them to like do a scan of my brain, but no doctor. Like, all my vitals have always, my whole life, been A1. So doctors have just been like, no. Like, literally, my last doctor, not my current one, but my last doctor, literally told me I was just a headachy person. Like, they were like, some people just have diarrhea for no reason. Some people just, you know, I don't know. They have different issues for different reasons. You are a headachy person. You're born to have headaches, basically, is what she said. And I just remember being like, no. Like, I am not a headachy person. Like, I'm not taking this. I don't agree with that. Also, I've always, my whole life, had, and this is a little TMI, and I'm probably putting y'all too much in my business, but I've always had like irregular periods as well. And of course their answer for that, to regulate my period, has always been like, oh, birth control. Yes, let's get you on birth control. And I agreed at the time, because, you know, who wants to have irregular periods? And I was probably on birth control for a good amount of years, until I just kept hearing things about it increasing your chances of breast cancer and things like that. And I finally got to the point where I was like, I don't want to be on, like, this is not for me. I don't want this. And I took myself off. For a minute, my period was very on track, and then it slowly got to be where it wasn't. And I remember one time some years ago where like I was bleeding really heavy for like 6 months, for like 4 months, 4 and 6 months at a time. Like, it would not go away. But I remember reading up on it, hearing about birth control withdrawals and how a lot of women actually go through that. And then once it finally stopped, I had irregular periods again. And so I just was like so unhappy with that. And I remember doing research to like, how can you regulate your period? I had a doctor, not officially, but kind of mentioned that, oh, you might have PCOS. And that might be why, I don't know. It was the not having for sure answers for me. I don't like that. And birth control always being the answer. And I remember telling the doctor about my constant bleeding and not wanting to be on birth control. And she asked me, why you don't want to be on birth control? And I was like, well, because my mother passed away from breast cancer. Breast cancer is very prevalent in my family, and I don't want to increase my risk of that. And I literally had a doctor at the time, an OBGYN at that, who was like, well, you know, it's medicine. Medicine is a double-edged sword. So it's like, you either want this to be treated, and something else, I mean, it's just collateral. I mean, like, literally, that's basically verbatim what she said. It's gonna help one thing, but it might mess up another, and that's the risk you pay. And I just was like, no, I don't care what you say, I'm not going on birth control. Now, am I saying that, doctor, you should not go to the doctor? I'm not saying that at all. Though I don't care to go to the doctor. I'll go to the doctor for like checkups and stuff. I'm not a fan of just like, oh, I'm sick, let me go to the doctor, oh, this issue, like, no, I go to the doctor strictly for like checkups. Anything else, if I'm sick, if whatever, I'm doing that. So let me tell y'all, with my headaches and my period, first of all, I don't have headaches anymore. Let's start there, clap it up, woo, woo, woo. Let's also talk about how for the first time in my life, for the last year and a half, year and some change, maybe 2 years, probably pre-COVID, my period has been regular. I pretty much fixed that. And you want to know how I fixed that? One, doing research. Ooh, that is too glittery. Definitely didn't mean to do that. I just started researching like herbs and ways to regulate your period. I thought to myself, if my period is not regulated, my hormones have to be off. Because I remember the doctor saying like, okay, your hormones are imbalanced. And so I looked for herbs that balance my hormones. I came across maca root. And we'll get into herbs. I started researching about maca root and how it regulates your period. And I took maca root and came across red raspberry leaf tea. And between those things, it has been like over the last years, and increasing my iron too. And that's another story for later in this video. We'll come back to the eyes. Let's cover up spots. So for my headaches, if you follow me and you've been keeping up with me, you know that I recently have been reading a book called Your Body's Cries for Water. You're not sick, you're dehydrated, or something like that, by a doctor. His name is long. It's Dr. F. Batman Hidilge or something. I can't pronounce his name, I apologize. I've been reading that book about water, and when I tell y'all, it basically talks about how dehydration is the cause of every health issue that you have. Headaches, depression, diabetes, gout, high blood pressure, I don't know, you name it, and like it breaks down different diseases and what it does from a doctor's standpoint of that. The more I really started reading about drinking water, the more I looked over my childhood, and I was like, you know, we did not grow up having water. We drank like Juicy Juice, Purity, Hawaiian Punch, sodas, Great Value sodas. After reading that book, I was like, you know what, you're right. And the more that I drank water, the more I noticed I don't have headaches. I'm not as depressed. I'm not as hungry. I've been like actually losing weight, as you can tell. Long story short, I don't have headaches anymore. So what really did it for me and making me want to study herbs more in detail, more in depth, was COVID, honestly. COVID really is when we started like taking herbs and everything real serious. Like, if you remember correctly, when COVID first happened, everybody was just in like panic mode. And we had one of my aunts gotten admitted to the hospital. They weren't letting her out, and just all these horrific stories about people being put on ventilators. And y'all remember, y'all were there. Like, clearly we probably got it around like after my aunt had it. It was like in that May. I had gotten it first. My husband at that point had never really, all the years that we've been together, I've never really seen him sick. I didn't expect him to get sick, but he got sick, like really sick. Could barely breathe, could barely walk a couple steps without like breathing. It was just real bad, y'all. So went in my research bag, as I now tend to do. I remember coming across a herb, Burdock Root, and reading about how it detoxifies the blood. It gets like diseases, viruses, and just all those little icky things that are keeping your immune system from functioning the right way. And so I think we took some more herbs, but I remember specifically wanting that herb. And when I tell y'all, it took a couple of days, because COVID was not no joke. During quarantine, like, no, we're gonna go to the park, we're gonna practice walking and breathing. And I also at the time came across Mullein Leaf, which is good for clearing out your lungs, but at that time I think I couldn't find Mullein Leaf anywhere, and that's how I knew. I was like, okay, Mullein Leaf has to be the real deal, because it was not on the shelves and at the health market that we normally shop at. But we were stuck with Burdock Root, and Burdock Root did the darn thing. And from that point on, we basically were like, nope, we got it. I just didn't rock with how they handled my auntie in the hospital. And had it not been for like an anesthesiologist in my family that was like talking to the doctors and like, hey, can you try this? Can you try that? Like, there's no telling what could have happened to my auntie like around that time. I think that was such a trial and error period. Since then, we've also been, for the last couple of years, working on changing our diet. I'm not gonna front and say like we're just perfect, Dr. Sabi following people. I would say our diet is balanced. So for every bad meal or not so healthy meal that we have, we double the healthy meals. For example, we just had Thanksgiving pass. Prior to Thanksgiving getting here, we were pretty much on like fruits and salads and like fish and salmon. We didn't even eat that morning until Thanksgiving, like the actual dinner. Ate good for Thanksgiving, but that was it. And after that, we had one to-go plate. We limited ourselves, one to-go plate. And then after that, we had like fruits and detoxed and did some of our herbs, and you know, we got back on track. I think it's been important to note that no matter what herbs we've tried, diet change. Because food is medicine. That's the real medicine in what you eat. When I was doing my research for, you know, like herbs and what they do, and then foods, like certain food health benefits. So oftentimes I would be like, okay, I'm having this issue. What is good for this issue? And certain foods would pop up. Like berries typically are good for headaches. And so I started eating more berries, blueberries. And I never really had blueberries until like the last couple years. Life-changing, okay? But that's really how my holistic journey has gone. What does me or a family member have going on, and what helps that? So some revelations that I've had while on my holistic health journey. One, like I said, herbs work best if you change your diet. The better you eat, the better you'll feel. I also had a revelation about how important water is. If you know me, if you ever told me that you have like an issue or something like health-wise, you know my first question is, how much water do you drink? Because a lot of people that I ask, do you drink water? They'll say yes, and I feel like, in the bottom of my soul, I feel like you say yes, you drink water, but it's like a sip. So when I say, are you drinking water, I mean, are you drinking as much water as juices or other non-water products? I learned from the book that like juices and stuff, caffeine and all the sweet stuff, like that dehydrates your cells, which causes your body to start having health issues. When your cells are dehydrated, they don't function properly. Also, another revelation I've had is dairy. Like, I am aware that we do need some mucus in our bodies. Dairy is one of those things that it just keeps your body from functioning properly. The more I cut out dairy, and I still here and there, not gonna lie to you, here and there I do have a little dairy from time to time, but when I have not had dairy for long periods of time, I notice how my skin clears up. I notice how it glows even. I notice how just my immune system is stronger. Anytime like I'm sick, I know it's usually after I've had some type of dairy, like cheese, in large increments. My last revelation that you need to know is that healing takes time. A lot of us, including myself when I first started out, thinks that, you know, okay, I'm learning about herbs, I'm trying these herbs, but it's been like 3 days and I don't feel nothing. If this is your first video and you know nothing about my story, you don't watch our podcast, I lost my podcast. I was really sick at the beginning of this year. Ironically, I had just started doing like a Queen Afua fast. I was reading Heal Thyself by Queen Afua. I went cold turkey with eating clean and everything. I felt the worst that I felt my whole entire life. Found out, one, that's just a part of detoxing. Two, I just was feeling real weird, and I remember going to the doctor. Long story short, my iron was super low. From that point of suggesting, you know, iron supplements and other things, I remember feeling like I just want to feel back to normal. It probably took me 6 months, really 7 or 8, to feel back to how I felt. That was the first time I really detoxed and cleansed my body, and it wasn't used to eating super healthy like that, because like I said, growing up my diet was horrible. So from personal experience, it just takes time to heal. Nothing is overnight. Like, you have to consistently be doing this thing. You have to like more consistently than not, doing this particular thing to heal your body, because you have to think about it. A lot of us, myself included, have had 30 plus years, 20 plus years, 15 plus years, however old you are. There's a large part of your life that you have eaten horribly. For as much time as it took you to not get healthy, it takes a while to undo all of that, to detox that out of your body. You're detoxing years out of your body, y'all. So be patient when it comes to healing. Yes, you can suggest, like I'm fixing to suggest some herbs and eating healthier and things like that to fix certain health issues, but know that you gotta be ready to be on a journey to heal. If you're just looking like, okay, well, I'm gonna try this for a couple days, couple weeks, maybe a month or two, I don't feel nothing. Okay, also assess what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how long you're doing it. because I guarantee you, if you spend a large amount of time eating healthy and doing the right things, I from personal experience can vouch that you will feel so much better. I get passionate about this topic. Forgive me if this video is long, but it's real beneficial. Share with a friend, tag a friend, whatever you gotta do. I'm about to apply blush by e.l.f. Here are some herb recommendations that I recommend, that I personally have tried. Again, these are recommendations only. I'm not saying this is law, this is Bible. Do your own research for anything, even past me, y'all. Don't just believe everything you hear on the internet. Do your own independent research and try things for yourself. If you try something and it makes you feel weird, stop. I'm lucky to thankfully have found a group of goddesses who they're more experienced with herbal medicine and how to properly use them. If ever I feel weird or have an issue, I call on them. So if you, wherever you are watching this video, find you a group of women that are maybe certified in herbal medicine, have experience, or you know, just find you some goddesses, because they are out there. Find you a holistic community. Ooh, I'm slaying this makeup. I'm so proud of myself. Anyway, I stand on Burdock Root. All these herbs, as a matter of fact, have some of the same benefits, like they control diabetes, cholesterol, they support immune system. But one of the things that stuck out to me is that it detoxifies the blood. Anytime I have a cold or anything, I'm like, let me get Burdock Root. And also the next herb, Mullein Leaf. Mullein Leaf is another herb that as soon as I start feeling sick or tightness in my chest, just because now we work out a lot more, if I just need to breathe better when I work out. Mullein Leaf is one of those herbs that clears out the airways and your lungs and the infections and things, the icky stuff, mucus out of your lungs. It may expel that out of your lungs. And basically its goal is to just clear up the lungs. I stopped doing makeup like I was just done, and I'm sorry. Also, raspberry leaf teas. Raspberry leaf tea supports the reproductive system, menstrual cramps. I don't have a big enough table to have the teas. All of these teas are in my cabinet, by the way. Raspberry leaf was another one of those herbs that helps regulate your hormones. I tried that, and again, like I said, my period is now regular. It's done wonders for me, and my cramps have not been as bad. Dandelion leaf tea is something that I also use because it also is one of those hormonal balance. Ooh, I got too much. Also tried balancing out raspberry leaf and dandelion with maca root, taking maca root supplements. Dandelion is also good for a few other things. I believe it also detoxifies your body or your liver or something like that. Ginseng, I've just always heard good things about ginseng. When I've tried it, I just feel good. Like I feel godlike. It has to be like a super herb or something. I don't know. I believe it also may relieve menstrual cramps. It may also help with stress and weight loss as well. So ginseng is one of those, just keep in your cabinet for whatever you need. If you just need to drink a tea in the morning to uplift your day, get that. Green tea I heard about when my mom had breast cancer. A few other people suggested green tea because it was good with cancer. I personally get the green tea pomegranate. Green tea is healthy for you, and pomegranate, the fruit, is good for your heart, and that's one thing I always want to keep a strong heart for me and my husband. Green tea pomegranate tastes so good. I just take it because it tastes good, and sometimes I'll have like green tea pomegranate and I mix it with like a burdock root or something else. I really use it for like a taste balancer, and it also helps with weight loss. Also peppermint, I technically use for a taste balancer because I like the taste of peppermint. I believe peppermint helps with nausea and indigestion. Ashwagandha. So ashwagandha is a tea I swear by because one of the first panic attacks, anxiety attacks I had shortly after my mom passed. Went to the doctor, had a panic attack. They tested me for everything and was like, you're perfectly fine, you're in perfect health, nothing is wrong with you, you might have anxiety. And so did my research as per usual, came across ashwagandha, tried ashwagandha, literally was stress-free. And so anytime I find myself getting anxious, I do lean on ashwagandha for that. So I call that personally the mental health tea. And pure chamomile. I have been on pure chamomile tea here recently because I've been having trouble sleeping, and it puts your girl right to sleep. So recommend it if you have trouble sleeping. I do have some honorable mentions because I got these teas and I just started on them. Moringa tea. Moringa is supposed to be like a super or power superfood type of herb. Heard nothing but good things about it. Also, Goldenseal tea. Goldenseal tea is an honorable mention because it has many health benefits. However, if you get pure golden leaf tea, the taste is so strong. Oh my gosh, it's so strong that it's like bitter, and I'm like, I can't do it, but it's really healthy for you. My last honorable mention is Oolong tea. So Oolong tea is basically black tea. Who knew? It's herbal. I came across Oolong tea reading Queen Afua's Heal Thyself book. It is one of those teas that is very healthy, supposed to be very healthy for you as well. I just tried it. I literally just got that like last week, and I tried it only one time. So far so good. It may help with cholesterol, may help with heart health, improves bone health, skin health. All right, y'all, so I went ahead and did the rest of my look off camera. But anyway, on top of those herbs, I recommend supplements. I do an even number of like herbs to supplements from time to time. I feel like supplements are a good way to get certain health benefits that you need. If you don't like teas, at the beginning of the year, my iron was really low. I believe the range was like, it has to be between like 35 and 300 or something. My iron was a 6. I always do research on what's the best brand. I saw a lot of YouTube recommendations on the iron pill. It's called Blood Builder by Mega Foods, and a lot of their herbs. When I tell y'all, I love their iron supplement. My last checkup was a couple weeks ago, and my iron is back in range and is back up. And woo woo, good reports. You need iron because it provides oxygen to your lungs, from your lungs to the other parts of your body and your bloodstream and things like that. So if that's low, that's why you might experience depression and other different things. So you need iron. So I recommend iron. Why is my chair moving down? Hold on, y'all. I also recommend magnesium. I remember watching an interview with Big Sean, and he was talking about how he had like some type of heart issue or something. I remember him saying there was a doctor that wanted to do surgery on his heart that could potentially not be good for him. And I don't know who recommended, but they recommended some type of magnesium, and he was taking it for a long period of time. And when he went back to the doctor, they were like, no, your heart is fine. Like, this crazy, like, what have you been doing? And he was like, I was taking magnesium. So I follow one girl on there, I wish I could remember her name, but she's always tweeting about healthy herbs and stuff to try. And so earlier in the year, towards the middle of the year, I kept hearing this girl talk about magnesium and its benefits, and I'm like, well, that's the herb that Big Sean talked about that basically healed his heart, and I know it's good in fiber and things like that. So I was like, let me try magnesium. She was saying it's good for gut health, and when I tell y'all I've tried magnesium and my mood is better, I just feel better. My husband recently, he just started taking magnesium at night before bed, and he was like, man, it helps me sleep at night. And so I've been having trouble sleeping at night, so I was like, you know, let me try it. So I tried magnesium literally last night before bed, and I slept like a baby. When I tell y'all, didn't know that it might help you go to sleep, but recommend it if you have trouble sleeping. I think what it is magnesium relaxes your body and your muscles. Also turmeric, it's anti-inflammatory, it has anti-cancer properties. Turmeric is one of those things I didn't hear about until my mom got sick and she went to Cancer Treatment Center of America, and they added that supplement into along with her other pills and stuff she was taking. And so I've been trying it for inflammation to keep it down. Works wonders. Also ginger for immune system. You can eat that, you can take it in supplements, you can put it in your food, your fruit, your juices. Take it for cold and flu season. Ashwagandha, of course, like I said, they do have it in pill form, or you can get it in tea form. But for mental health, if you struggle with mental health, if you struggle with depression, things like that, ashwagandha, supplements, teas, whatever, try it, please. Moving forward, I just want to say to end out this video that no, I'm not perfect in this journey where I'm at right now, but I have come a long way. I battle with the fact of like, maybe I should be more vocal about my holistic health journey. I cannot stand hearing bad news when it comes to health, whether it's a family member, friend, anybody that I love, anybody who watches me and supports me, just anybody in general. Is nothing worse than hearing bad news. So for me, I'm very passionate about healing or helping heal people. I'm also not one of those people that's gonna force my lifestyle onto you. It's just gonna be holistic health, drink your water, da 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 da. I don't want to be one of those people. However, If you are in a similar boat of being fed up of going to the doctors, or just doctors not tending to you the way that you want, I just want you to know that I'm here. Always on Instagram, social media, any social media platform, TikTok, if you will, YouTube. Comment below, like, if you ever need recommendations, if you're struggling with something, and if I don't have the answer, I will gladly reach out to my goddess group and I can get recommendations for you. That's why I wanted to put this out there. I don't know why I felt like people would judge me for being on a holistic health journey, but it's something I was keeping to myself. But there you have it, like, it's here. So I love you guys. Make sure you comment below if you like these types of videos, if you want an updated video in some months, 6 months, 3 months, whatever. Comment below, let me know. Be vocal with me, y'all. Like, are y'all growing with me? Are y'all watching? Are y'all feeling this? Let your girl know. I'll get into this look. Bye, y'all. See y'all next Friday.